All right. So someone is worried whether working at Amazon is going to impact their ability for future job employment at other companies. And he's asking for advice on Blind. And so let's try to help this guy out. So the title of the post says, does Amazon on the resume taint future opportunities? He says, we all know that a stint at Amazon opens more doors than it closes, but what opportunities specifically have you seen close up due to the perceived baggage an ex-Amazonian may bring to their next gig? Knowing several ex-Amazonians, I'd be wary of hiring one into management due to the potential of them bringing over negative aspects of Amazon culture. Personal experience in this regard has been primarily negative. That's interesting. He must have had some pretty bad experiences. Are there any places with more friendly cultures that won't or are more hesitant to hire ex-Amazon people, product managers specifically? So I think there's a lot of different questions here. But let's just kind of take this at face value. First of all, let's take a look at this perceived baggage claim that he makes. Amazon obviously is known as one of the world's largest companies. They have spanned into many different areas, including commerce, AWS, cloud, and advertising. But I think for a long time, Amazon has had this sort of culture where people there are very demanding. Jeff Bezos, I know, has had a reputation for cutting teams or being very, very demanding in meetings, and people just didn't last very long at the company. I think it's true. I think Amazon does have a very unique work culture. But of course, if you look at the results, it's what really allowed them to be successful today. He says, knowing several ex-Amazonians, I'd be wary of hiring one into management due to the potential of them bringing negative aspects of Amazon culture. The reality is every company has positive aspects and negative aspects. I remember when I used to work at Google, Google has a reputation and a pretty high bar of entry. And it's very difficult to get in. But when you get in, you realize, hey, people there are very smart. They know what they're doing. They're passionate about what they do. And there's a lot of focus on the end user. And I think Amazon has little bits and pieces of that where if you look at their leadership principles, it's really focused on doing the right thing for the customer. Customer obsession is one of their key LPs. Now, of course, there's also negative aspects of that. Everyone has a different experience of, but depending on the team and the manager that you have, there might be very high standards. There might be occasionally unreasonable expectations. I think Amazon is also known for fostering an environment where there's unhealthy competition amongst teams because they want the best results and the best ideas to flourish. I think Amazon has also had a reputation for favoring criticism as opposed to harmony. So the way it works is that they encourage discussions and people to challenge ideas and thoughts in meetings. And sometimes that can definitely be jarring, and sometimes it can hurt your ego. Amazon is also known for being very frugal. There's not a whole lot of benefits at Amazon. I'll tell you this right now. Free food, not a thing. There's little perks here and there, but for the most part, they really are frugal, and they try to get you to embrace that mentality of not being wasteful. And I actually think that's a good thing. The other thing that I can kind of think of is Amazon has a very unique way of getting things done. They have this sort of day one mentality where they operate like every day is day one. And that means that you can't rest on your laurels. You can't take it easy and just chill, because then the competition is just going to come by and eat your lunch. The culture and the way that they do things is also very, very specific, where, to give you an example, white papers and writing everything in doc formats and narratives is something that's very important at Amazon and something that they've had since day one. They're also very relentless, I've heard, when it comes to negotiations. I personally don't work in the procurement teams, but I know that the margins are pretty small, especially for the retail and the commerce business, or even hardware and devices. And so I know that the teams are oftentimes given very demanding expectations on making sure that they're able to save and get the best bang for their buck. The last thing I'll say is Amazon has a reputation for the way they treat their employees, especially when it comes to retail and operations, where they're expected to hit a certain quota or produce a certain number of deliveries. I know that it's not always easy working in those teams. And unfortunately, Amazon has been in the news for not treating their people as well as they could. And I think that's a decent criticism. But in my personal opinion, I think I disagree with the thread. I think Amazon alums are doing some pretty amazing things. And the experience that you get, even though I've only been with them for 2 months, is pretty amazing, to say the least. If you go and take a look at this article, let me just go ahead and open this up. This is an article that was posted on the Wall Street Journal, and it talks about how Amazon is becoming America's CEO factory. And I definitely believe this. There's a lot of Amazonians who work there for a few years and they leave and they join startups. They start their own companies. They become CEOs and leaders at other firms. And, Amazon is definitely a place where you can get that foundation that will be transferable to other industries, other companies, other businesses. And so this idea or notion that Amazon is just a place where you grind and you don't learn anything and you're just going through the motions, I don't think that's really true. I think Amazon has negative aspects about their culture, but also a lot of positive ones. And they have a very specific working style that's unique and that's allowed them to be successful and to thrive. Just because Amazon ingrains those things in its employees, it doesn't mean that people can't evolve and change. I think for me personally, whenever I go from company to company, I take what I've learned and I try to sort of apply my own understanding and my own style to it and then apply it in whatever environment I end up in next. The experience that I'm getting now at Amazon will definitely carry over, but I'm also planning to take the good things or the things that I personally believe in and the principles that I agree with and not everything. So this idea that, just because you've worked at Amazon, you have this negative reputation or connotation in the industry, I just don't think it's true. And I don't think that this poster has anything to worry about potentially going to Amazon and worrying about future career opportunities. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Drop a comment down below and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.